So here we are today in sunny Australia. It's a little bit overcast, which is not normally how we work, but it gives us a very unusual situation to look at landscapes, which is today's lesson. First, I'm going to run through a little bit on the equipment because we're at the end of the day and we're rapidly going to run out of light. So we can experiment with very long exposures. We're going to be looking very much at the different compositional details in the landscape. We have a bridge just here which looks absolutely beautiful. In high sunlight we'd get a lot of shadows which would add to our contrast and our composition, but today we're going to try and give it a really misty kind of European atmosphere, which is very unusual for Australia. Normally I would always shoot landscapes on a 70 to 200mm lens. The reason for that is because if we use a wider angle than that, we tend to end up with very vast landscapes and nothing specific. It's a little bit difficult shooting landscapes. It's one of the most common practices for most beginner photographers. But what actually happens is that you sometimes lose detail if your lens is too wide. A 35mm lens, 24 to 35mm lens in these kind of conditions, it would make us look like we're on the other side of the planet. With landscapes, what we really want to do is try and engage the viewer to feel like they're in that place. And that's how we have the atmosphere, we create the atmosphere with our cropping, our composition and our lighting. So most importantly, I think landscape is about cropping, composition and lighting. As it's a very flat day, we're going to probably end up desaturating these photos, turning them into black and white so that we add to the mystery, to the European look. The equipment I need to have with me at all times with landscape is a tripod, because as we lose the light and we want to do a longer exposure, with the waves that we have crashing around, I can get a really nice fuzzy effect. I would put it on here. Also so that we don't get random movement from people that might walk in front of the frame. If it's still, you can opt out of that. 70 to 200 lens. Sometimes you can use fill flash to light various different areas. We might do a little bit of that. Your basic kit should always have wet weather clothes and maybe some food like chocolate bars, especially if you hike into a landscape, you know, and you're a long way away from civilization, you might get hungry or faint. If you're doing landscape photography on a really large scale and you're way out in the bush, make sure you have a GPS tracking system with you as well. So let's have a look around and we'll pick some photos and we'll see how we go.